Welcome to the Psychedelic Integration Podcast. I'm Sinclair Fleetwood, a ceremonialist, plant medicine guide, and psychedelic integration coach, and I help soul seekers create lasting transformation so you can get unstuck, embody your power, and be authentic AF, all with plant medicine as your guide. If you're ready to go beyond visuals and get a vision for your life, if you know the end of your ceremony is just the beginning of your expansion, then this show is for you. I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome. Hey family, welcome to the Psychedelic Integration Podcast. I'm Sinclair Fleetwood. Thanks for being here. Last week on my Nest call, Nest is my group integration membership. We meet every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Zoom. We had a really beautiful conversation about sacred rage and anger and how we relate to anger. And it was powerful. I ended up making a crazy sacred rage playlist on Spotify that I will share in the notes of this podcast so you can enjoy it. We were really talking about creating safety around anger and feeling anger and getting into specific examples with each person of like how anger shows up for them and kind of looking at it in a new way, in a different way, and sifting through some of the programming that we have around anger and rage and feeling difficult feelings. And a lot of people look at anger through the societal lens of this is not safe. This is not okay. Anger is bad. It's not something I should express. I should not have this in me. And I'm going to do everything I can to hold it in. And we learn this often because somebody put their anger onto us and put their, maybe it was violence, maybe it was verbal, maybe it was some kind of way that we received anger as a child. For me, my first memory of being alive in this lifetime, in this human body, was being hit very hard, multiple times by my father when I was 3 years old. I was having fun, playing, and he told me to clean up my toys, and I was probably very excited about the word no that I had learned, and also I'm kind of a rebellious person, and I just was like having fun, and I was like, no, I'm not cleaning this up. No, I'm enjoying myself. And I was like, ha, 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 ha. And I was in a moment of joy, of pure joy. And from that moment, I was picked up by my arm and held in the air and hit incredibly hard. And I have come back to this memory many times with ayahuasca and with the medicines to understand this seed that was planted in me of fearing men, fearing the masculine, this really strange, difficult relationship that I had with my father. And recently it's come back around into my awareness as also a seed where some rage was planted, some fiery, sacred rage of boundaries being crossed, and this original receiving of this and how it shaped my relationship to men, how it shaped my relationship to myself, how I turned receiving that on myself, because of course that's what the child does. The child turns inward and says, there must be something wrong with me, and how that influenced my thinking and my belief system around my self-worth. And that's very common because our society does not have a healthy relationship with anger. So it's not being modeled to us. In fact, we're just passing the ancestral rage from one to another, from one generation to another, because we don't know how to heal it and we don't know how to express it safely. It feels taboo. It feels not okay. And because it felt so bad to receive that, we feel horrified when we recognize that that seed is also in us and that we have the capacity to be enraged, and we have the capacity to be angry, and we have the capacity to hurt people and be violent and all of these different expressions. So why this matters on the psychedelic path is rage is actually showing us something sacred. And in my case, with the story I just told you, it's the first memory I have. It's one of my core wounds. It's also where my power is. This ability to tap into my sacred rage, to receive the lesson, to be the one in my family that says, no, this stops with me. And the rage that my father put onto me chased him throughout his life, and it ended up killing him because he never dealt with it and it never resolved, and it just continued to stay alive in him to the point where it took his life. We look at anger when we get on this path as low vibe. Anger is like low vibration. It's like not cool. It's not okay to feel this. And this can go for any emotion that we deem negative, that we judge as being negative or unpleasant or difficult, right? It could be rage, it could be depression, things, low feelings that we don't like, that we judge. And so we look at them, we see them in ourselves, and we're like, gross, no, I am not feeling that. That's not okay. That's not spiritual. I'm just going to shove that down in a drawer, and I'm not going to engage with that because I'm just love and light only, right? Most of us don't know, how do we express rage safely? How is it even okay to like investigate this in yourself? I work with San Pedro. One of the things that happens with San Pedro often is people start to get real agitated. They start to get like fidgety, and they're not feeling good. They're like, where's the joy? Where's the euphoria? And I'll ask, well, how do you feel right now? Well, I feel angry. And they have the expectation that anger is not an acceptable emotion that I'm supposed to be having in a ceremony, in a retreat. I want to feel joy. I want to feel euphoria. I want to feel love. I want to feel gratitude, and not feel angry. And they feel confused. And I say, yes, exactly. Because anger is one of the most spiritual feelings you can feel. It's the thing that's blocking all the joy and the love and the magic that's in you. It's holding it away from you. The vibration of anger is keeping you in a vibration of repression and not self and inauthenticity. And the only way to break through it is to feel it. We have to feel it to heal it, right? So anger is it's not unspiritual. It's not low vibration. It's power. It's presence. It's sacred, and it's safe. So we want to learn how to create safe spaces where we can feel anger, where we can stop making anger wrong, where we can stop self-rejecting over anger or any negative emotion. We can allow these messy human points where we connect with our emotions to guide the way. Because at first, if you have been repressing negative emotions for a really long time, whether that is full sadness, grief, shame, rage, humiliation, fear, if you are carrying around a lot of negative emotions in your body, they will get stuck in your body. And then you will probably start to have symptoms of some kind. Maybe you have mental health symptoms like anxiety, PTSD, emotional constipation of some way, where you are stuck in a specific kind of emotion, depression, where you can't reach better feeling things. If you're depressed and you move from depression to rage to anger, that's amazing. That's an active feeling. I always think, oh, good. Yes, this person is moving. They're moving through their emotional scale up into these more active, not as fun feelings, but they're moving from this state of hopelessness, this state of despair, this state of feeling sorry for themselves, the state of victimhood. Anger is not victimhood. Anger is taking back your sovereignty. Anger is, I am worthy, and something unsavory has happened. Something unjust has happened. Something has crossed a boundary that is not okay with me. In order to uphold boundaries, you have to have self-worth. You have to believe that you are worthy and righteous in yourself. You have to believe that you deserve to move through it. That's the only place that feels safe, right? So when rage turns from depression, chronic pain, emotional numbing, suppression, fear of losing control, fear, just like keeping you still and small. When you move out of the freeze response and back into anger, where you're like active and you're like, okay, now I'm in the fight response. improvement, right? Because you're moving up the scale. And the scale I'm talking about is the emotional guidance scale. This is from Abraham Hicks. I got to spend the last weekend in a 2-day Abraham Hicks workshop in Asheville. It was amazing. It was so amazing. I love Abraham Hicks. I love the law of attraction. And I've been turning over the law of attraction around in my mind, trying to understand where emotions fit in. And, some people have a problem with law of attraction because they're like, well, it's very victim blamey. And it's like it can be kind of bypassing, where it's like, well, the way to change your life is to feel better. And it's like, well, that's very easy to say. But if you feel shitty and you don't know how to stop feeling shitty, you have a lot of momentum feeling really shitty, feeling depressed, feeling bad. How are you going to turn that around if you can only attract more bad, hard, difficult things? And the answer is to reach for relief, reach for something that feels a little bit better, and keep doing that. If you keep doing that from the pain of depression, the pain of loss, the pain of being frozen, and you move just a little bit of relief. Well, now I'm really fucking angry. Well, that feels a hell of a lot better than depression, doesn't it? And if you keep doing that, eventually you're going to be hitting the tipping point, which is like boredom, contentment area, and you will flip the switch, and before you know it, you start to feel good. And you have to feel it to heal it. I don't believe that you can think about feeling it without feeling it. So there's a couple things that go on with these difficult emotions, right? Bypassing anger leads to disconnection. It leads to spiritual disconnection. It's not authentic. So we cannot bypass our anger. We have to create space for it. We have to gather our capacity and allow the anger. Allow whatever the negative feelings are. We have to be fully willing to feel into them. Anger is one of those spicy feelings that makes you feel, yeah, you're angry, but you're alive. It can bring back life. So I always tell people who are struggling with depression, who are struggling with these deeply paralytic feeling states that are chronic, that last for a long time, that feel hopeless, despair, things like this, where you feel really stuck and you don't know how to get out of it. If you can connect to your anger, it is rocket fuel to pull you out and it will pull those feelings with you. So when you feel the anger, you might get access to feeling like, okay, what's underneath this anger? What is hiding under here that has been protected by my sacred rage? What is in me that desperately needs to be felt, but that has felt too scary and too big and too overwhelming and unsafe for my body and nervous system to feel? And what plant medicine does is it creates capacity. It opens you to being able to handle bigger emotional experiences. And part of how it does this is it raises your vibration, for one thing, because you are really connected to source energy, but also it does it by handing your ass to you sometimes. And, the altered state experience of a psychedelic journey is intense, and it's intense, and it shows you how strong you are. And often it can guide you into places that you could not go on your own. And that's why I really like it, because it's fast, it works quickly. And talk therapy is another great way to tap into some of this stuff, but you have to be able to talk, your way around the ego. And most people who have depression or who are protecting, they have a big anger protector in their ego is not going to let you pass. It's like, none shall pass. Good luck. And the medicines are like, oh, look over here at these cool visuals. And in the back door, your emotional body is like getting cracked open, So I like the plants I believe that their number one work with us is to help us unearth our emotional trauma. As a society, we are going on a path of collective repression that is coming to a head. We are in the most wonderful time that has ever existed. And at the same time, we're in one of the most violent, volatile times that has ever existed because of our technology, because of our capacity to destroy. We are so angry. We're angry at Mother Earth. We're so angry because we don't understand. We have such a deep abandonment wound that we are willing to destroy the very place that gives us life because we're that angry. It's like a child throwing a tantrum and breaking all of their toys, except their toys is planet Earth, you know? And it doesn't mean that anything is wrong. This is happening on purpose because it has to be this way, right? There's a gift inside the fire, and we have to recognize that what's going on in society is a reflection of what's going on in the individual and vice versa. So if you want to help heal a broken, angry, violent, repressive society, how do you do that? Start with yourself. Feel your own feelings. Tap into your own rage. Allow yourself to honor all of your emotions and accept them and not judge them. One of the most difficult things we get stuck in is judging our own emotions. It's so ridiculous when you look at it. When you like step away and look at yourself objectively as a witness, and you're like, okay, I can see that I was having a really hard time, and I was having a hard time and these difficult emotions were coming up. And as I was beginning to feel them, I started judging myself and telling myself how stupid and how wrong it is, and I shouldn't be feeling this way. It is the most insidious, ridiculous thing that we do. And I've just started laughing at it because we want to control everything that's going on inside of us. We want to heal, but we don't want to change anything. We want to heal, but we're desperately clinging to the stories and the trauma and everything that we are holding dear to us that makes us who we are, especially all the garbage, all the trash, all of the bad stuff. We want to roll around in the trash like a dirty garbage dog, like a street dog who's like, ooh, I found some trash, I'm going to roll around in it. That's how we treat our trauma. We're like, this happened to me and I'm going to carry it with me and show it to everyone I know so they know that I roll around in this trash. I don't I don't talk about trauma as trash, because it's gross and wrong. How does trash get made? Trash is often the container that brings us our food. We make trash out of things that we use all the good parts, and then, the rest of it goes in the garbage. And trauma is the same. It's something that we chose. And I've talked about this on previous episodes recently, that this choosing of our trauma, we created this so that we could learn and heal it, so that we could find the gift inside the shadow, so that we could become a regenerative, healing force in our ancestral line, in nature, because humanity has to go into this darkness. We have to have people who are willing to go into the shadows, who are willing to go into their own shadows, their own darkness, their own pain, their own suffering, their own anger, and to feel it somatically. Acknowledge it. This is here it is. Here's my anger, here's my rage, here's my shame, here's whatever it is. Doesn't it feel like relief when you admit that it's there? This is happening, period. That is radical acceptance. You just admit that it's there, instead of, this is happening and I fucking hate it and I don't want to feel like this anymore. And all I think about all day, every day is how I don't want to feel like this and I don't want to feel like this and I don't want to feel like this. What do you think is going to happen if you put all of your energy and attention on how you don't want to feel? You are going to keep feeling that exact same way, because you're not actually feeling the feeling. You're thinking about how afraid you are of feeling the feeling. And that is not the same thing. If we just felt our feelings instead of the fear around feeling our feelings, we would be much more emotionally healthy. We would not hold on to things. We would just feel the feelings and they would be gone. Oh, I was enraged this morning and now I'm making a sandwich. How lovely. It's like, that's how rage can be. It can be a thing that comes in and it's like, rah! It hulks out, it smashes stuff, not actual stuff, but metaphorically, it's like, whew, I'm going to breathe into this. This is not bad. This is just energy. It's a lot of energy. Wow, that's a lot of energy. I'm feeling this thing that is related to this anger feels really intense. And I think I'm going to do something with this, and I'm going to let it move. I'm going to let it breathe. Maybe I'll go dance about it. Maybe I'll go out into nature and scream about it. Maybe I'll put my face in a pillow and scream about it. Maybe I'll go to a break room and smash some stuff about it. Maybe I'll buy a coconut and smash it against a tree about it. This is a thing they do in India, that if you need to smash something, I highly recommend get a coconut, put all your anger and your whatever at it in here, smash it. You can do some journal speak about it. Journal speak is a practice invented by Nicole Sachs, who is a psychologist who works with chronic pain. And she created this process where you just sort of rage on the page and you write all this stuff down, all this unspeakable, uncouth, taboo, whatever you feel, say it out loud and delete it. And then you no longer have this garbage floating around in your body, right? You don't have this energy has gone somewhere. Everything is energy. So when the energy comes, you can't put it aside. It doesn't go anywhere. It's in you still. So that's where, well, I'm not angry. It's like, you're not angry because you don't let yourself feel anger. It's not because it's not in there. And so many people who have chronic pain, myself included, when I first started on this path, I had so much anger in my body. I had no idea. I did not know it was there. I thought I was really sad, which I was. I felt the grief, and below the grief for me was anger. Often it's the other way around. Anger is protecting. Grief was protecting me from my anger. And I think it happens like that for women more often because it's really unsafe for women to feel anger. Men are told that it's unsafe for them to feel anything except anger. Anger's fine. Aggression is good for men, they say. So often men will be more in touch with their anger and not feel other things. And then they start to think, well, I'm angry. When that's not true at all. That's just what's been allowed. So if you let yourself feel the anger and keep going deeper, then you'll often find humiliation, shame, more anger, but a lot of grief, a lot of sadness, a lot of hurt. And it can be opposite for women because it's not safe for good girls to be angry. Good girls are not angry. Good girls are not loud. Good girls don't explode or collapse. We just keep going. And this anger, if you can feel it somatically in your body, you can start moving with it. You can let it teach you. You can start talking with it and asking it, what are you protecting? What are you protecting? And thank you. What's trying to emerge through you? And channel it, move it into something. Take that anger and make art with it. Create a boundary and give it some time to breathe, and then place the boundary. And sometimes the boundary is with yourself. Often when we put a boundary out of us, we need to put a boundary in us too. I found this for myself. I found my most recent experience with anger is when I feel disrespected in some way, often professionally, when I feel kind of taken advantage of in some way. The way that the anger moved in me in a way that I didn't like and didn't want to continue was, instead of allowing the anger to be there and to really sit with it and take a pause and let it move and tell me, okay, here's the soft way to do this. Here's the conscious way to do this. I would feel the anger and not have the capacity to hold it and be like, boundary, and put a boundary with someone, and often in a sharp way that didn't feel good to me or to them. And this had happened, many times in my past. And then it came to my awareness, and then it kept happening. And when I started seeing it and witnessing it, I was like, oh my God, this is so ugly. I don't like this at all. It's so bad. And then, it happened. And then I had a big conversation with the person that it happened with. And it was Tara, my best friend, Tara. And wow, it was so healing. And it made me so conscious of what's happening in me. And then it happened again, 6 months later. And I'm like, wow, 6 months, great. This is good. This is getting further and far between. And I just watched myself do it again. And I was like, okay, this is still here. And I need to work on this. This is not how I want to express. I'm doing a good job at identifying the anger. I'm doing a good job at allowing myself to create a boundary, which felt very foreign to me for a long time, especially being in service. There was a part of me that thought, I just need to be available, unlimited availability to receive anything anyone wants to give me because I'm in service with plant medicine. And it's my responsibility to humanity to take all of their trauma if somebody wants to give it to me. And I need to say yes to everything. And man, my energy was not down with that. And I did it like that because I am a recovering people pleaser. And there's a part of me that still really needs people to like me. And so that for me was where my anger was protecting me, was this part of me that had to become okay making decisions that take care of me and my energy when other people don't like it. And when other people want something from me that I'm not willing to give or I'm not available for, to be able to say, this is not okay for me, but to say it in a softer way and a more gentle way and a more confident way, rather than, this is not okay for me, how we do when we're angry. And so you might have some of that. You might have some of that uncomfortable, oops, there goes the anger, and that doesn't mean you can't trust the anger and that it's not safe and that you're bad. And so that's something you have to watch, is like not judging yourself and not rejecting yourself and not beating yourself up when you make a mistake. You're a human person. And especially if you're in service, and you're learning these boundaries, we think that service is selfless. And I don't agree with that. I believe that those of us who are in service have to protect ourselves more than anything, so that we have strong energy, so that we can be holy, sacred, safe vessels for people to come to and to be guiding and to hold containers and to be space holders and things like that. You can't do that if you are full of resentment. And that's what this rage was showing me, was this way that I was making myself small. And oh man, it was such a long string that I pulled of giving my work away for free and doing all of these things where this specific situation where I had a difficult conversation with someone where I didn't say things in the way that I really wanted to, was nothing to do with this person. It just happened to be the face of that thing that pushed against what was all in there, which was like, I'm not honoring myself in the way that I need to. I'm not taking care of myself in the way that I need to. And it's coming out at other people, but really it's me and me. And a lot of times that's what anger is there to show us. It's you need to make a boundary with yourself. You need to stop overgiving and people pleasing and perfectionisming all over the place. You have to claim your sovereign worthiness. You have to claim your agency. And you don't have an anger problem. You don't need to fix the anger. You need to fix your relationship with yourself and your relationship with your inner being and your source. You're not broken for feeling anger. You're waking up. You're becoming aware. You're becoming conscious. And you're the one in your lineage who is holding this fire of healing. You're the one in your lineage that is in service to love. And I'll tell you, being in service to love requires sacred rage. It is taking the anger and making it holy, taking the anger and looking at it as the protector of your truth, the protector of your body, the protector of your time, the protector of your integrity, the protector of the earth, the protector of everything that you hold sacred. And that's something I consider to be part of my work on this planet, is to walk in integrity. And when I feel my integrity is being threatened, that's when my little anger claws come out, my little cat claws. And it's not cute, it's not sweet, and it's not nice. And I don't want to exist in the world like that. So when it comes in a way that feels out of alignment for me, it is a sacred lesson for me to get back into right relationship with it. And that's how it works. It's not perfect. You might have some of this messiness where you're learning how to move with the anger and to transform it into something beautiful and powerful. And it doesn't mean you hold on to sacred rage in your body and you're like, yes, my fire of sacred rage. Your fire is made of love. Your fire is made of compassion. Your fire is made of oneness with all that is. Your fire is made of creativity and healing conversations and owning your shit and taking personal responsibility. You don't have to explode. You don't have to collapse. It's not one or the other. It's finding that sacred middle path, the middle way, right? So that you can root into that fire, let it be led by love, and forgive yourself when it comes out otherwise. And know that as you keep practicing and you keep getting comfortable and you keep building your capacity to stay in the fire of rage and let it show you what it wants to show you, you will become more empowered. You will become more conscious. You will become more thoughtful. You will put that boundary with yourself So then it won't be even a moment that you are like, I feel angry in this moment. I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to let this wave flow through me, and I'm going to come back to this conversation when I've had time to be in my heart. And just like that. And it will be second nature, and you won't have to think about it, and you won't have to, have big explosions where it doesn't feel good. And, the kind of explosion that I have now compared to how I used to be, because this has been a thing that's gone on for me for forever, since before I ever started on this path. And I just thought I was a hysterically emotional person. But it turns out is I had all this rage and sadness and grief, and I did not know how to feel it because I was just drinking all the time. And I didn't have any connection to my emotional body. I didn't have any connection to my emotions other than to be completely overwhelmed by them at all times and to feel victimized by myself and victimized by life and victimized by everything that was going on. And as I started practicing yoga and presence and taking time for things and learning how to be embodied and live in my body, to feel my feelings in my body. That was also a foreign concept for me. I would just feel sloppy all the time. Like I didn't feel like I had any agency over anything that was happening inside of me. And now I know that's completely untrue. Where I put my attention is what's coming up. And when I have a good, calm center and my thoughts are centered, I can put my attention wherever I want. And where I want is to feel really good. I want to feel good. I want to put my attention on things that make me feel good. And I want to use that feeling good to create and build and bloom and create paths for other people to walk their own path to feeling good and their own path to finding boundaries and their own path to working with anger. So I hope this is helpful. This is what integration looks like. It's alive. You move with it. It's not something you're doing. It's something you're being, right? So thanks so much for being here. If you want to go deeper into this, you want to get the tools. You want to walk with this in your life. You want to be in a container with other people who are moving through this kind of stuff where we talk about these conversations. We are looking deep inside and finding answers and finding solutions and making progress. You can work with me one-on-one. You can work with me inside of Nest, my group membership program. If you want to learn more, go to my website, sinclairfleetwood.com, click on work with me, book a free call. We can have a chat. I would love to get to know you and see where you are on your path. We also have one more resonance retreat this year. It's September 12th to 15th. It's emotional alchemy. It is magic. It is manifestation. It is release. It is family. It's so fun. We have such a good time and embodying everything and integrating everything together as a family. We would love to have you join us. Book a call on my website, sinclairfleetwood.com/events. Book a call. Let's talk about it. I will give you all the details. We can figure out if it's a good fit. Thanks so much for being here, family. Honor your sacred rage. See you next time.